Well, here we are at extended cut 2 of this two-part video. I'm here with Ron, and I'm also here with Bill. And the reason why I've got Ron here is Ron was kind enough. Go take a look at Ron Stevenson's amazing layout on the layouts, and he was kind enough to introduce me to Bill. Bill, what's your layout's name? I see it here on the wall.
Well, this is the Geneva Northwestern Railroad. It's also known as Papa Choo-Choo's Railroad.
Papa Choo-Choo's Railroad.
No idea how we got that name, of course.
And I like what I call the triple-decker layout. Now, just before I show the triple-decker layout for Extended Cut 2 here, we've already shown the triple-decker layout, so I'm going to quickly show people that, and we're going to talk about the two rooms we haven't seen. So let me turn the camera around, and this is what we already videoed for the first 29 minutes or so, or 27, you'll know that in Extended Cut 1. And this is why I call it the triple-decker, because, yep, it's one layout stacked on top of a second layout, stacked on top of the third layout. And Bill, let's walk in this way, and I'm going to talk with you. Let's show those other rooms. Go ahead, walk that way.
Sure. We're going to the Coast Division now, Lou, and make sure you set your watch because we got 3 hours of time change out here.
And Bill used to formerly work with the Chicago Northwestern in their operations, and you will be amazed. This is not a loop layout, by the way. This is all points, point to point. We are bringing information and transportation and services to other points, and here we go. So, Bill, where are we at right now?
Well, Lou, you're looking at the port of Tacoma. Now, you know the Geneva Northwestern Railroad has a very active bunch of industrial customers, so this is a busy export terminal. And we bring in empty containers from China, and we ship loaded products made in the United States back to Asia. And up there is, you know, this is an environmentally sensitive port, so they don't allow any conveyors or pipes or anything in there. So over there in the corner, the far corner, is the power plant, and we unload coal from the power plant down there against the retaining wall. And the North Island refinery is up there, the Tacoma refinery. And the products from that refinery and the ingredients going in there, like crude oil, all are operated through this terminal down here on the deck. We also have a grain export terminal here. A lot of the grain that you saw coming from the UP ends up in here. And we have a steel coil terminal here. Some of that steel coil goes for export, but a lot of it goes to make drums, 55-gallon drums, Lou, and you'll see some of them a little bit later. And what happens is we make the drums, and then we take them to the refinery, fill them up with fuel, and then they are shipped to Pacific ports, especially to the military. And down here on the waterfront, we have our steel products terminal where we ship export steel. We also ship military equipment. We support the Pacific Fleet and the different islands from here and various military campaigns. This is a sensitive terminal. There you're looking at the container business there. We have a lot of export material here, and that comes in from Chicago and Minneapolis, and also comes in from the UP side. And we operate piggybacks and stack trains through there. Now here on the lead, you can come through the, well, you know, I mentioned those barrels, Lou. See up there, that red truck up there? See all those barrels there? And they've just been made with a coil steel here, and they're going over to the refinery, and then they'll get painted red, and back in the refinery, they'll get painted red and filled with fuel and shipped overseas. So, and this, as you will remember here, this product that's right in front of you is the stuff from the South Milwaukee steel mill. We've got channel, large pipe, those actually they're going to a dam project. And we've got billets and slab steel, and we've got some oil well pipe going there too. Then we
had to connect one area to the other, so you built this.
Right. This is the bridge that gets over. Now I got to tell you about this thing. This section from right here over it belongs to my wife, and I violated some of the property designations here. So every time I make a violation like that, I have to pay a Polynesian penalty. Now, a Polynesian penalty is when my wife is not happy with this. She needs 7 to 10 days with her feet in hot sand in the South Pacific someplace. So as you can see, this has been an expensive layout.
That's a shout out to Joe's creativity. Nicely done.
Right, and of course the team, the rest of our team members like Bruce and Joe and Kath, they just laugh every time a Polynesian penalty is assessed.
Bruce, we're going to show this amazing mountain that's been built. Who helped you with this mountain?
Everybody.
But define some of the people who are everybody.
Well, Bruce helped with this, Joe helped with it, Kath, the actual mountain forming of the mountains and the painting and the decorating and so forth. Liz from B&G Train World in Elgin was really our architect for this whole thing and our artist. And then we learned from her, and then this was a joint project. Everybody contributed materials, time, bumped heads, and a lot of imagination here. So it's worked out pretty nicely.
So let's.
And Jim, Kath's husband, built the trestle for us. And
this trestle here.
Right, this is the high bridge. So, that's the high bridge there, and then in the far corner over here is the arch bridge. And then you're looking at the area of the mountain where the spiral tunnels are. Inside the mountain, we have spiral tunnels. And, oh, you're looking way up top there. That's the fire watch station. And also, the fire watch guy, that's Spanky. And he lives in Spanky's cabin right there. And Jim, whose nickname is Spanky, Jim, our Kath's husband, built the shed and all the pieces up there. And right in front, Lou, see a little white mail crane? That's Spanky's, and that's a station. The train, one train a day stops there and takes Spanky where he needs to go and gives him his mail and food and stuff. And that's how we supply the mountain, because you can't drive there. So over here, you notice a change in the hue. Over here, it's on the left, it's gray, but now it's becoming green because this is the Seattle side. And you know, all the water coming in and the mist and everything in Seattle, it's wet. So we really have a lot more green over here and than we do in the rest of the mountain, which is pretty much dry. And then this is part of the spiral tunnels in here, right in front of you. And then down in here is the Seattle waterfront. This is really a popular recreation area down here across Puget Sound. And here we've got kind of a bike path and roller skaters and some vendors and so forth. And this is a real popular spot, especially on weekends and in the summer, in those few days in Seattle when they actually have the sun come out. Underneath here is a produce and meat packing terminal where all the trucks receive and ship product. And Bruce is, hang on a minute, I'm going to talk to Bruce here because he and I are...
Bruce, good to see you.
Hello again.
Nice to see you. Bruce, we need to run a train. Show us how you operate one.
Well, we're going to get one off the mountain there.
All right, let me, before we bring it down, let me just show that. And there's so many pieces to this layout. Again, this is the extended cut version.
Well, you know, you're looking at Glacier Ledges National Park and the Glacier Lodge up there, and this is really the main scenic attraction to the area, Lou. And Glacier Ledges, right? You do skiing up there, and we have train. This particular train stays overnight on the main track here because the lodge can't hold all the people that come here, and so some of the people sleep in the sleeping cars on their train. And the lodge actually provides a dining car staff for our train so that they get the quality of the food that you get in the lodge. And now right there in the front you can see how the tourists come down the front of the mountain here. You see, and they can come right down the front of the mountain down here to Glacier, to the actual caves. And you can see in the caves right in here, and if you look in here, Lou, come back over here, you see, you actually can go way back in those caves, and that's what makes them so popular in there, is people can come back in there and see some of nature at work. Okay, and then if you look around, there's actually a lot of things to see. Now, if you watch my spotlight a little bit, we have critters on the mountain. Can you see them? Mm-hmm. And then I was looking over at some of these people right here. There's a mom talking to her child right there, and then she's pointing at something. So I looked to see what she was pointing at. Oh, look up on the mountain. There's some more critters up there, right up in there. So there's a lot of wildlife here because this is in its natural state. So really, you know, what this is train 17 that's up there at Glacier Ledges, and it spent the night there, and so Bruce is ready to pull 17 down the hill.
Let's pull it, Bruce.
Yeah, we're going through the spiral tunnels, so we don't go fast out in this division. We only go about 25 or 30. Sometimes on the straightaways we might make 40. And this train has got three locomotives, 3 Fs. It's got a railway post office car, a baggage and railway express car, 3 sleepers, and the last sleeper is also a first class lounge on the back. It's going over the arch bridge and into the spiral tunnel. Now it takes a little while for it to show up, and like I say, there are sharp curves back in there, so we're not at high speed, and you may find that, see if you can figure out where the train's going to come out of the tunnel. And now we come across the canyon bridge, and this particular bridge is a combination girder and deck truss because of the length of the span and the inability to put a center pier on the bridge. So there we go, getting ready to come by Spanky's right there, and heading on down into Tunnel 4. Actually left Tunnel 4, he's going into Tunnel 5. You know, I lose track of these things sometimes. So working there, you can hear the brakes clanging in there now. They're starting to heat up coming down the mountain. And he's back in the spirals again. And take him a few minutes, but eventually he'll come out over here, and he'll come out of the mountain over the Seattle terminal, which is in the mountain. And he'll come out of here, and this is called the Seattle Waterfront Trestle. As you can see, it takes care of the grade going down in, and also it's over the port of Seattle. This is where a lot of machinery gets shipped overseas, and we also receive machinery back for rebuild. Okay, so we're going down now, coming down the mountain. He's got the dynamic brakes and the regular brakes on, control the speed. Coming up to Redstone Junction. And at Redstone Junction, he dives into the next tunnel. And working his way down. Now this, from the observation car, oh look who's on the back. There's a guy like, oh, that's Lou on the back of the train. Lou's taking a video of us taking a video of him. Okay, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
These camera guys.
You can't, nothing you can do about those guys.
Okay, so now coming out of the base of the mountain, pretty soon 17 will be showing up in Seattle. There he comes, easing on in.
Just amazing.
Just easing on into Seattle. Now this is the end of the trip that started in Chicago Union Station yesterday. Okay, so Bruce is trying to get him in. There's a couple places where we have to stop in here, and so Bruce has got him stopped here, and he's talking to the tower, about and if it's okay to move into the station. He just got the okay from the tower, and what do we got? Oh, they're what we've got going on over here is that looks like somebody found some hot brakes. So see if he'll. Okay, so let's just give it a try.
Can we run this one?
Hang on just a second. Bruce, go ahead and see if he can pull in there now. He got the light, so he's heading on into the terminal. Yeah, that's a little bit more. Another car or two. One more car, Bruce. Half a car. Almost clear the switch. That will do. Bring him to a stop. Good. All right, you were asking to move
How
something.
about that? Is that able to move?
Well, sure, that's able to move.
So
We're going to do him. We're going to give him a try here. Let's see what else is going on. Let's see here. Now Bruce will be getting over there. He's going to get on the engine
Go
and
ahead,
see.
Bruce. Let me get out of your
Bruce
way.
is going to get on the engine. We're going to see. Hang on just a second and line up some switches here to make sure. We always got to make sure we get our switches lined up before we start moving around. So Bruce, why don't you see how our well, let me see here. There we go. Okay, Bruce, you're lined up on switch 3. You can shove back about another 5 or 6 car lengths. 4 more.
I love the drivers on this one.
3 more. 2 more. All right, that's good. Okay, let's back them up a little bit more so Lou can get a picture of the rotary. I put on the 21s. See, I put the 21 circuit on. See if that does anything for you.
Let me just get that.
All right, so there's the rotary, Lou. Now that's a steam rotary. All of our other rotary plows are diesels, but that's an old steam rotary.
That's pretty cool.
All right, great.
Let's walk into this area here, around the corner.
Okay.
So here this track.
This is, this is Tacoma Yard you were walking by, so. This is where Bruce is, this is all Tacoma Yard. Oh, this is Camp Junction at the end of the yard. This is a fire train, Bruce. This is one of those, you see the smoke jumpers on the train? If we have a fire on the mountain or back here in Cascade, this is a combination joint effort between the railroad and the paper company. And if we have a fire, the fire train goes out there. We also run the fire train if we have very dry conditions. We run it as a precaution. We also keep the bridge crew back here, and we have rock in case of a washout. This is product. This is actually mostly empties on this train in front, and then the lumber and the pulpwood all comes from Canyon. So you see a combination of military equipment there getting ready to go. And I think, see over there, I see coming out of the Tacoma Yard, see Bruce has got a switch engine coming across. And Bruce, are you going to use that guy for a helper?
Yep.
Okay. What we do on our trains that go up the mountain, Lou, is we put plenty of power on them on the front so they can maintain the low speed. But we also put a helper on the back. And what he does is he keeps the drawbar pull. He keeps the drawbar pull low on those cars so that it reduces the risk of a train separation or a derailment. It's very important. We have two of those guys in helper service.
Let's go take a look at that corner piece here.
Okay.
So
You're at Canyon now. This is Canyon, and this is the Georgia Pacific. You saw the Georgia
and
Pacific
I want to
fire
bring
train.
two pieces. If we look overhead,
This
we
is
also have
tunnel number 1.
this
And
this track here that
Okay.
goes into that tunnel, which comes
from
around,
Badger, right.
all right, across the
That's-
doorway.
That's a Continental Divide. Now, Lou, while you're right here, you're looking at the water heater, see? Right here at our water heater. And of course, the station that's up here above the water heater, we call Hot Springs, of course. You knew that, right? Okay.
That's right.
All right, so then you want to follow that line up there.
Let me
That's-
get this section right here before I follow that line.
Oh,
but,
sure.
But
This is Canyon. See here, we got the. This is Canyon. This is a Georgia Pacific camp. Now, you're probably wondering where that doodlebug car is coming from.
Yeah.
That's the line to Portland back
Okay.
there. Okay. So at this mountain camp, they produce pulpwood, logs, wood chips, and milled lumber. The milled lumber goes back into Chicago, and also a lot of it goes for exports in these 20-foot, see, look over here at the terminal. See these green MOL containers, the
Yep.
little 20-footers? Okay, those little guys,
Yep.
those are loaded with lumber going back over to Asia because the quality of our lumber here is real good. And then,
I got it.
okay, good. So then, one of the things, we have a lot of wildlife right here. See these guys right here? This is mama and babies, right? And then we've
I've got the moose.
There's a moose. Oh, look at here's another one back here. Okay. This is the water tank from when we run steam engines in here. And we also fill the fire trains there. Now over here, another moose. But see this moose? Looks like he's stalking this bear who's stalking the moose. So there's a lot of activity here in the canyons.
Don't forget our bear
Oh,
up on the hill there.
He must be a teenager because he's not with the rest of the group. So you can't tell kids anything, right?
So this comes across now the top. This is how we get this layout is going to go in this room here, and this then comes out this way to bring over here, so it all connects. And tell me about this section here that it just wasn't enough room for Bill, so he had to figure out how to come through this wall for this passenger layout.
Well, Lou, I'm sure you recognize this place. This is Madison, Wisconsin here, and then Milwaukee Road's in there, and the Northwestern's in there, and you see all the airport buses because a lot of the people take the trains here to get away from the congestion in the Chicago airport, so that's why you got so many airport buses there. And so we have trains here like the Dakota 400, the Capital, the Varsity, the Sioux, and whoever else shows up.
Whoever else shows up.
Right.
So
Because there's a lot of sports fans at University of Wisconsin and Madison, a lot of football business.
So
Over here on your right, this is Summit, and this is the crest, the peak of the Continental Divide up here. It's a double track on the mountain because it's pretty slow going on the mountain. Then down to Dry Wells. And then this is the Junction Division, as you mentioned before.
what happened here?
Oh, this is the
It came through a wall.
This is the Minneapolis Union Depot, and what really happened here is all the trains from Chicago. When we tried to fit them in the room, they didn't fit, so we had to adjust the size of the
bust
room.
out the wall. I
Right,
got it. Yep.
right.
That's a typical guy move right there.
Sure.
So let me just show people from a distance as we walk into what would seem to be a doorway, which you can't walk through. We're going to climb under here to give you an idea of what's happening in this room, because this room is quite interesting. Now this,
Keep your head down.
I'm
Lou.
keeping it down, but I'll walk all the way through for a moment so that people can kind of see. This is where we go through those walls there.
Well, you're looking at, down here, you're looking at, right here, you're looking at the connection to Chicago. This is Chicago Junction. Okay, so back in there is how we get onto the top deck, where Union Station is and so forth. As a matter of fact, you see right here, you remember Bruce said he had Second 56 coming?
Yeah.
Well, here is Second 56 at Chicago Junction, and he is the East Coast section for the mail train. And
Well, let me just give people kind of the perspective. We've got this layer, and this layer,
this is the
and
Minneapolis.
this layer,
This is
and this
Chicago.
layer.
This is Milwaukee.
and this layer.
Oh, this over here is Douglas, Wyoming, the oil shale.
Let me
plant.
start from the bottom and go to the top.
Okay, so this is where we have the crude oil. We get the crude oil, and we also use a lot of the sand from Janesville Sand and Gravel. And we also use a lot of pipe down in here,
There goes
lumber,
to another
machinery.
room.
That's the Florida division in there, Lou.
Come through the wall.
Watch your head.
I will. There's another way you come through the wall.
That's the Wisconsin division.
Back there.
This is North Milwaukee, and here's an interesting thing here. This is a hot metal train from the mill, and here this is a joint venture between Caterpillar, Tower Automotive, A.O. Smith, and what we do here, we get coiled steel in here, we get hot metal, we produce engines, auto parts, and we re-outfit military equipment. We rebuild up military equipment and civilian construction equipment. So you'll see equipment moving loaded both directions.
What's going on down here?
Oh, this is Douglas, Wyoming, the oil shale terminal. Right down in here, this is where we load the crude. These are the empty sand cars going back. There's some earth-moving machinery around here.
I'm just going to sit here for a second. And what do we have? So I'm not going back and forth.
Why, sure,
Now I'm just turning over.
Well, that's the Colorado cement plant over there. And that's right there by Boulder. And we ship cement there from there. It goes up to Chicago. It goes out to the Pacific. And it goes back into there in some of the dark canyons and out to Pacific Junction. And this is Sherman Hill. Sherman Hill going up the mountains here.
Going up the mountains, and they kind of continue to spiral their way up.
Right.
And what's up here?
Well, that's more coming up the mountain. Now
More
you're
coming up the
toward,
mountain.
you're coming up here towards Lake Hill, and you're coming up towards Kenosha up this way.
All
right there is
all
the-
detailed going up the mountain.
Okay, and of course you see right there where this trolley subway comes out.
Yep.
You saw that in the buses. Okay, so over here, down over here, the part where you were following before, we've got number 24 from Milwaukee and the mail train. These guys are waiting their turn to go to Chicago. All right, and then up in here, this is the brickyard, Minneapolis Brickyard, and that is the Minneapolis Union Depot. There's 7 tracks in Minneapolis Union Depot. Over in front of you now is Wisconsin Rapids. This is really big industry, large paper mill. They take in acid, coal, pulpwood, and coatings for paper, and they produce all types of paper, cardboard, fine papers, and so forth. So we have a lot of business there, and we have an overnight Milwaukee Road train there, Pullman cars, because there's a shortage of motels there, so they sleep on the trains, a lot of the industrial customers.
And let me just wrap up.
Here's our local. This comes in, this guy meets the Hiawatha, this little one-car local. He meets the Hiawatha down at New Lisbon, which is in the next level. And this is a turntable up here, because we don't have room, we don't have room for a Y, so. And of course, this is the Minneapolis piggyback ramp. Milwaukee Road serves that. This is our Minneapolis rotary train. We've got 4 rotary trains. 3 of them are the diesel Leslie rotaries, and the other 2 are in the Coast Division.
Bill, go ahead.
This is the leads to the Minneapolis station. So.
And this leads to the Minneapolis. Okay, let's go back to the mountain. We're going to end there. Go ahead, I'll let you go first. You got to see this to believe it. We're going to chase Bill out to get to this other section, like so. Give you the full experience of what it's like to be in this layout. And here we go.
Well, let me see what Bruce has got going on over here.
Got freight coming out of Tacoma Yard going up the mountain.
Where are we?
We're up near Spanky's.
Oh, look at here.
There we go.
He's got a freight train together. Now those are Fairbanks Sea Liners, 4-axle diesels. I think they're about 2,400 horse apiece. And he's got a lot of heavy loads of pulpwood, lumber, more pulpwood, logs, refrigerator cars, parts and lumber, empty ethanol car going back, grain cars going back, caboose, and the pusher.
The pusher.
Right.
All right, guys, stand right next to each other for a moment. Ron, come on in here. Let's get our train guys together. So Bruce, you know, we've got just a couple of minutes here. You've been a friend of Bill's for 5 years, and you shared with me you're still trying to learn this layout. This is unbelievable.
Yes, it certainly is. And I'm constantly looking at the track map.
And Ron, when you first seen this from Bill, what did you think?
I thought it was incredible, and back then it was just a triple-decker sandwich.
And now he's got all
And he
this.
was talking about what was going to happen over here. Now it has happened, and it's probably been more like 5 years, I would think, to do this. And it's incredible what he's done. It is really a labor of love with a lot of people.
So this is Milwaukee Road train, and this train's going to Milwaukee, and he's stopping right there because the crew will get off and go on in there and get a little something to eat over there too. And so there's also a car in this train that's got freight. He'll pull up a little bit more and unload freight there after just a little bit.
Bill, let's have you partner up there with your buddies.
All right.
Bill, I've been to a lot of model railroad layouts. I've talked to a lot of people, but you are truly a trained operational model railroad layout person. Unbelievable. And I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to come into your home and video this. Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Lou.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Lou.